which you can find in that back table right over here, and managing editor of Borderlands Texas Poetry Review, an organizer with Mano Amiga, and a finalist for the 2018 PEN American Writing for Justice Fellowship. Hicks was a 2019 Lambda Literary Emerging Fellow for Nonfiction, a 2019 Jack Jones Literary Arts Culture II Conference Gender Sexuality Fellow, a 2019 Palette Poetry Spotlight Award finalist, a winner of Catapult's 2019 Black History Month Scholarship, and has received a residency from the Vermont Studio Center and is a 2020 Tin House Winter Workshop Creative Nonfiction Fellow. Yes! Their work is published or forthcoming in Poetry Magazine, Age Right? Never say it right, sorry. Tahoma Literary Review, Prairie Schooner, Slate Magazine, Huffington Post, Texas Observer, Color Block, and others. But most importantly, their favorite flavor of ice cream is banana brownie. Please welcome to the stage, Rita Hicks.
Hi guys. So first thing I want to say is that my editorial team is bomb. Like, I couldn't have asked for better people to start with. I'm very emotional today, so I might cry. But I appreciate you guys so much. It's been a really interesting year. It's been a really tough year. You know, I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing with you guys, so I appreciate it so much. Yeah, I'm going to start in the back of the book this time. The reason why I include all the magical things that have happened in the last couple of years is because I've been writing since 2003, and it took until these last couple of years for me to start seeing any big changes in my life as a writer. And if you're a writer, you know how much goes into that. And so I've spent a lot of today crying, just because, you know, things are what they are when you're a writer. And so I appreciate moments like this where I get a chance to just kind of be in the work. I like to share that stuff because it took forever to get it, and I'm going to be damn proud about it. I'm not going to be quiet about it. All right, we're going to start in the back of the book. This is the second to last poem. And this is for my daughter who was adopted by my friends who live in Chicago. All it took to get to you. The chances are slim that I should come to you, and I gutted my way through hell to get here. Blood begets blood, salt running earth, as do the gates of women unpacked unceremoniously, my body a cannon in sterilized rooms. Hospitals beget wombs. My child a stone cracked open in unison. 255 rips, a pillar of salt every minute, begets 5.2 suffocated potential murderers / lovers, every 1,000 souls. We were the same once. Acre survived, every black body, daughters to gorgeous survived, begets the chances that my child a weapon, we even make it to this moment. We were the same once. We found love. I became something more. Both daughters to machines. We made it out, alive, and we gutted our way through hell to get here and into each other's arms. Well, that's a poem. I didn't really think through too much of what I wanted to read to you guys, mostly just because it has been a week. There's a lot happening with our county jail. The organization that I work with is trying to get a public defender's office, and we're trying to get cite and release passed in our city. Cite and release basically just means all low-level nonviolent offenses get a citation instead of going directly to jail. And next week, a documentary about my story is coming on PBS, and it's going to be in the Texas Observer, and it's very emotional for me. I'm trying to wrap my head around what it means to share that story, knowing that part of my job as a writer is to keep talking about it and not shut up. Speaking on that, I'm going to go ahead and read A Tale from the Hood. Who knows that TV show or movie? A Tale from the Hood? Yeah, okay. We got a couple of them. There we go. Undercover, the triggers of chalk-dusted goons tripped on the local game of niggas they was hunting. Caught everybody off guard, and these fools thought it was all gonna go away. They canceled the TV crews and the coroners and the internal investigations, told everyone, just go home, it's over. But it wasn't over. It's never over. It got the traumatized and taunted aunties/mamas/grandmamas to congress over they forgotten and call down their ancestors, summon up the wounded, go live and boo, they was not ready. Moon eaters swarm and hun under the fluorescent trick of the busted streetlight over on 5th. Swell and flood out the alley. All of them hooded spooks on howl, apparitions of chopped hard diamonds grinning cement teeth. Their faces beat jigsaw, their bodies slick as graffiti. They come back to get what they're owed. Black acid I'm gonna move this way. Trying to get comfortable for you guys. I'm tired. I went to bed at 5 a.m. I'm tired. I was up by 1 p.m. Got work to do. Black acid bleeding all over the streets. They dripping coagulated cayenne like they is those girls. Just girls before the nick and chomp. Before the city caught their bodies, before the city slipped into their bodies, but now they flares of mauve light, rocking inflamed chests and split cherry tongues, they swollen throats full of fire, they eyes on hot like ruptured dwarf stars. Before they were graffiti, they were boys. Before still hymns whispered holes into them, they were boys. Just boys before the chop and flip, before they were separated bone from rib, before the city got under their skin for good, they was boys. But now they jugs full of lightning, swirling summer storms in their smoke-infused cheeks, pushing havoc up through their filtered lungs and out through the gushy pursed lips. Their air collided with scripture like Molotov cocktails and brick walls. It is a bad day to be a ghost, a wanderer. Ghosts too can bleed, I have discovered. An exorcism in my cul-de-sac as the exodus of the only other black boy I know who lives here. Now my iris is more broken glass than epic hydrant, is accompanied by a symphony of groaning women who flood the block, their hands perpetually reaching for the bodies of their excavated sons. I watch the priest, navy-skinned and afraid, wrestle back his steel rosary, trying to calm the snapping jaw of a devastated Genesis, a woman invoking fire and brimstone. He fails to quiet her insanity, and I feel carmine torches flare up from the cavity of her lips. I feel myself flower in her sudden expulsion, and we become a battering ram of melanin, punishing the yellow rope around the neck of our child, a simulacrum of blanched hues growing heavy with night. I feel her breed, her anger with my smoke, and become the guillotine from Crenshaw, the hook of the South, the mother and us all lit. I'm going to read one more from the book, and then I'm going to read new shit that is not published. Woo! New shit? Yeah. Okay. So, there are a lot of poems in this book that I'm very, very, very proud of. That took a lot to do it. And there are a lot of things I want to tell you about the book, but I'm not going to go into it tonight. I'm a little too emotional for that. So if you have questions, just ask. But this book, it does contain curses, it does contain blessings, it does contain many different facets. This is a piece of spell work that I've been doing for over a year. So it's not just talking about magic for me, it is magic. So that's what you need to know. This poem is one that, I just kind of want to do it today. It's called Tinder. The blonde Uber driver with my address, name, and number. The barefaced bohemian barista with my name and number, the slickly coiffed bachelor posing on the bar waiting for my number, the distinguished professor dangling a network of names and numbers, the educated brother from Howard U crossing the sands and dripping numbers, the fox of a boy dragging denim skins around his ankles hollering, give me that number, the father, daddy just out of lockup today with my number, the woke sis with a detachable dick who straight up took my number, the Christ-whipped child of heaven who straight up took my number, the crooning coward, a hooded siren tearing into the soft beginnings of names and numbers. May you ocean of fleas finally be dusted with a lifetime of reckonings. poems that I'm pretty excited about because I got done with the book and immediately started working on new poems, because that's unfortunately what you do. I didn't want it to stop. So most of these are complete, but not actually, so they might be different in the final piece. The book I'm working on now is tentatively called Arco. I wanted to talk about what it means to be in between so many things. I'm in between being a young person and being an elder. I'm in between being just black and being from a mixed background. I'm in between being female and male. I'm something different. I'm in between the academia and what it means coming from poverty. I'm in between so many places. And when I try to think about what I am, I think of myself as a bridge. And so the book hopefully will talk about everything from what it means to literally move across the country, as well as what it means to literally move inside the self to get to the other place. So that is the title of the book. I'll save that poem for last. This one's called My Lover Wants to Know Where I Am. If I am in Albuquerque, it is to borrow time as a reclaimed silhouette of woman, singing in my lover's entryway, a cloud heavy over the headboards. Look, I am here now. An ache gyrating through the artist studio in Houston, jerking on a bare-backed rug, my fat breast in my lover's hands like wet bowls of feathers. What smokes more than this? I asked while in Denver, my hips swung around the broken faucet of my lover's neck, cradling the strange howls crawling out of us. My fingers, little spiders climbing out from tight drains, ask, is it memory? The terror of touch? I myself, a sliding scale of do not, of a softly went back to Baltimore with its cocoa butter and warm showers and flexed heels looking for an answer. I went back to El Paso for its back seats and seasoned bone marrow and unprotected borders. I went back to Columbus for its butter and cream, and I never left Los Angeles, though I said I would. I went back to Chicago, though I said I wouldn't, looking for my panties and my moisturizer and my last layer of skin. I never left Colleen with its pump and grunt, though I said I would. And I know this is a problem, but the truth is, sometimes I need the discipline. My lover wants to know where I keep going. When I close my eyes, I say, I am in Portland, pray for me. I am in Vegas, do not call. I am in New York, please come get me. So, I have a working theory. This is what happens when you're in the middle of writing big stuff. Like, you have these ideas, you don't know exactly how to articulate them just yet. But I'm very interested in the idea that climate change is directly affecting how humans treat each other, how it gets flooded, and so on and so forth. So climate change is also another very big part of that. I saw this title and I was like, I have to write this poem. So this poem is called NCIA Publishes the Article, When It Comes to Addressing Climate Change, Gender Matters. I digested this data and disintegrated on a molecular level, am now an ironic history of black heat, tearing through defined shapes. I have become the hidden hyphen, strangling the ice of your waist and sucking. There is something wrong with the weather, with my mouth, a silhouette of mud I've swallowed, men for a millennia, am now a register of cyclical genders, flushing out sex from a queer hole in my body. To say I am unknown is to say I am in flux, ruminating on all the names and waterlogged roots, dissoluble in the hinge of my bruised dermis, a vector of my kind, a fish, and a woman, and ready to die. My species survives. Our wilted crowns bend at the center as green wave after green wave swaddles itself around our necks, to bruise deep and distinctive. But listen to us, whistle and arc, awash along a thinning coast, our bodies, once lost in the sway of the ocean, are now ribbons along the white shores of some man's land. A flush of color, we have always been, going, are coming with the tide. I want to share one more with you guys, if I can pull it up. It's here. So I'm going to share this poem, and then I'm going to read you one last one, and then I'll get out y'all's hair. It's a lot. I've been doing a lot of thinking and quietness, and I crave I crave a space to just sit and write, and hopefully I'll get a little bit of that in January. But I'm hoping that this next book will it will thrive in silence. Meaning this last book for me definitely had a lot of noise and energy going on in it, and for this next book I hope that it's a little bit different. So this is called Steel Horses. Wrote it when I went to go visit California this past summer. California's boys rush their mares by the passenger window. My mama keeps pointing out of. Hiking their front wheels up off the ground, they lean their heavy backs into the hard river of the road, coaxing gravity to knock or not knock them down. They roar and skirt through the bloody light on the backs of stallions coated in syrupy bows of rain, toxic lime and anarchy's mandarin, engine colors slick against the fading fare of all this century street's grim. My mama points out the hood, notes where I was almost buried, under the sick green porches of the ghetto, points out the corner on which my daddy made her my mama, and drives silently towards her block and the pictures I didn't bother saving. She points out the highlights for me to remember, where she knew he was a man, where she knew men, where the high school's lawn used to sprawl, but I am only half listening, watching dude next to us jerk his wheels up into the air, his grill angry and the West Coast burn, wondering if I was somewhere he was going. Was I sitting in a house somewhere, praying for him to come home, or was I wondering what it felt like to have all that heavy in between my legs? What if I was heavy between the legs? What would it feel like to hang my body from a machine, to feel the trickle of time gaining mass between my skin and shift? All right, and this is the last one. This is Arco in its current form, which means it could change completely. The poem is a lot about transferring my view of self from I am a woman, I am a girl, to I might be something different, and I don't have the word for that. And that's what most of my life was. It felt like I didn't have that language for the last couple of years as a non-binary person. And so it's kind of about exploring that, as well as exploring the journey from California, LA specifically, to Austin. I moved here when I was 11 years old, and that journey stuck in my mind very clearly, just watching the mountains, watching the highways, watching how the land changed, and how that's been very representative of how I've changed throughout time. So, Arco. In the desert, who I was evaporates in the belly of a long night. Makes it difficult to know exactly when I became a valley, a facility of ghosts, starved for the heated flicks, the mouths of someone else's sons, sons with my mother's chin, some with my father's knuckles, some with matted fur covering the spoon of their backs, some with hook-shaped cocks, some with alacran azul for throats all ready to glow. In the desert I am, a task of breath, a bridge of flesh and brine, turning back to watch everything in California burn. A flux of woman. I patrol the lip of a country tired of my mud-caked face. Hover over the trail of my own salt and demise. Travel south, southwest, listening to the horns of Los Angeles bleed into the expanse, the city's lights trickling off along the smooth, glassy back of the interstate. I ride between Los Angeles and my first death, bury myself in the Chihuahuan's hunger, a kind of sorrow sweating blades of brome grass, sleeping in puddles of hushing Brahma, my legs dangling from a bed of dehydrated moons. Who we are now, a river of hands, fishing myself up from out of the dirt. Who we are now, tired game, wandering, borderless, I ride between Los Angeles and my second death, a desert of flesh, drowning in the Chihuahuan's thirst, a canvas marked through by the incessant light, a host of fresh leather, cut from the cracked earth's fringe. A host of fresh leather, cut from the cracked earth's fringe, my wrist a weary flag for weather to chew through. In the desert, who I am, a boy traveling south-southwest, as far as the stars will take me, into the land coughing up all of my names, the skin of the road warm against the bottoms of my black feet turning ash from hunting an exit ocular, my scars, a scattering of messages about the end, who I am now, hurled through the red enchanted, soft and affected, makes it easy to know the strategies of the border, a gold chain draped around my dark and heavy waist. In the desert who I was, buried in the shoulders of this pale state's eviscerated edge.